Hey guys, so this video is going to be a little bit more complicated than the last one. I'm going to show you some things like a variable, an abstraction, and what a loop is, and worrying about those terms isn't very important right now. I just thought it'd be good to get familiar with those concepts and kind of start just seeing them on Scratch so maybe you can start to use them on your own.
Everyone, so today I'm just going to go ahead and show you what we're making up front this time. So we're going to be making this little guy. I named it Quarantine Activities because I don't know about you guys, but after being stuck inside, this is about all I'm doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and run it, and this is what we'll be making today. He just eats cheese puffs forever. It counts every bowl of cheese puffs he eats, and he just doesn't stop, which I think is representative of my time at home. So if you want to learn how to make this, you can just follow along and keep on watching. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm already logged in, so I'm just gonna go ahead and click the create button right here to open a new project. And just like last time, I'm going to start by choosing my sprite, my background. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this guy by pressing the little trash can right here. And I'm going to pick a new sprite. I'm going to go for the same green dinosaur that I did before. So I'm just going to grab this guy. I would recommend using the same one just because it'll be easier for placement and everything. And then I'm gonna pick a background. I'm probably just gonna go for the same blue one, but you can do whatever you want for the background. That won't really affect anything for this one. And then, so now that we're here, I'm just gonna put this guy where I want him, maybe stand like right there. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and start by going to events. I'm gonna drag when the green flag is clicked out to where the dinosaur is, or out to where the code goes underneath the dinosaur right here. Oh, and also you're going to want to add another sprite this time for the cheesy puffs that he's going to be eating. You can choose whatever food you want, but for some reason those cheesy puffs make me laugh. So I'm just going to click on food, click on these, and I made them 60% their size last time I did this, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on the size box with the cheesy puff selected, and I'm going to type in a 60 right here and put that right there. So now that we have that, so each sprite, by the way, you can put separate code under it. So notice how there's no code under the cheesy puffs right now, but I have this under the dinosaur. So under the cheesy puffs, we can just go ahead and add the when the green flag is clicked button, and then to start off, and then we can go back to the dinosaur here. So this one involves the dinosaur to change costumes for him to open up and close his mouth. So just to view the different costumes, you can go right over here above the code blocks. You can click and click on costumes, and different sprites will have different amounts of costumes. Today, I'm just going to be using this one for the dinosaur, dinosaur 4-A, and I'm going to be using dinosaur 4-B so that his mouth is open. And you kind of want to remember, or 4-D, sorry. You kind of want to remember what each costume's called, but you can always go back and check when you're filling in your code blocks. So we want him to start out as the closed mouth dinosaur. So we're going to go to looks right here, and we're going to select the switch costume block. And notice how you can pick what costume for this sprite you want it to be. So I'm going to go for A and just press that so he closes his mouth for right now. And then today we're also going to be using something called a loop, so you can just follow along and click the same blocks as me. What a loop does is it just, you know how he eats the Cheetos over and over again and he never stops? So the loop allows the code to run through over and over again. This one will allow it to run through forever. So that's why he's able to keep eating the cheese puffs forever. So, So in this loop, we know that we're going to want a costume change to the open mouth, and we're going to want him to change back to the closed mouth so he can open and close his mouth. So we're just going to go ahead and put those there for later. And then, just for timing purposes, I'm going to have him wait 1 second at the beginning of this loop. So I'm going to drag that block inside of the loop right here just so that it doesn't go super, super fast. Because if you want to try it without the wait 1 second and hit the green flag to kind of test out how it's working, you'll be able to see that it goes really, really fast if you don't add the blocks for him to wait. And I've kind of played around with the timing last time I did this, and I found out where I liked it. So if you use the same numbers as me, the timing should be good. And then another important thing when you're making these things that I'd like to bring up is I'd recommend clicking this little green flag right here multiple times throughout the process of making a project, just so that you can test it as you go, because that way it's much, much easier to see any issues or mistakes that you might need to fix and make sure that everything's working as planned as you go, because that's much easier than getting to what you think will be the finished result and then compiling your code or pressing the green flag and wondering what's going wrong. It's much harder to find the issue. So we're going to want him to wait 1 second, and then in order to eat the cheesy puffs, we need him to open his mouth and then put the cheesy puffs in, right? So this costume is the open mouth dinosaur. If you click on it, you'll see he opens his mouth. And this one's a closed mouth, so we want him to open his mouth after he waits 1 second, so we're just going to put that right in there. And then I'm going to add another wait block, except for this one is going to be for 2.25 seconds, so I'm just going to type 2.25 in there. And I'm going to have him wait, and then I'm going to have him change back. So if I just go ahead and press the green flag now, he should just change his costume, wait a couple seconds, and then change his costume again. And he'll just keep doing that forever right now. So if you want to go ahead and test yours right now and make sure that he's doing that, that'd be good to make sure that you've been following along correctly. And so I'm just going to go ahead and hit stop right here, have him close his mouth. And now we want the cheesy puffs to move. Stop. Okay. Now we want the cheese puffs to be able to move to his mouth. So in order to get the cheese puffs to move, we want some code to be in here. But in order for all the code to be interconnected, I'm going to introduce you to a concept called abstraction, and that's where you name a certain chunk of code that's somewhere else, so you can just call that chunk of code under the other sprite for that to run. And this sounds confusing at first, but if you kind of just watch and follow along, it'll start to make more sense. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to the events tab right over here, and you want to click on the broadcast message 1 block, and I'm going to put that in between the first switch costume and the wait 2.25 seconds. And then you can just leave it as message 1, but I find that it's more helpful to name my things, name my methods that I'm going to call different names that make sense to me. So I'm going to name this eat with an exclamation point because that makes me laugh. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK right there, and then see how it says broadcast eat. So that's going to call the eat method. That's going to be under your cheesy puffs. So now we're going to go ahead and click on the cheesy puffs to get to the code that's underneath these. And so notice how in my other program that I already did, the cheesy puffs are going back and forth right like this, right? Like he's eating them. So we're going to need those to move back and forth. So when the green flag is clicked, we're going to need the cheesy puffs to reset to be right here. So what we are going to do is we're going to go to the motion tab, and we are going to click on the go to X position and Y position, and we're going to attach that right there. So that the cheesy puffs will start out where you want them. I'm just going to go ahead and say I want them to start right here. Let's go for that. And so to know what X and Y position this is, you're going to look down over here and see how this is X 85 and Y 26. So in this block, I'm going to type in 85 for the X value and 26 for the y value. But you can either type that same set of numbers in here so that yours is positioned exactly the same as mine is, or you can just look at exactly where it is. And then what you're going to do is you are going to go to the Events tab again, and notice how you named that message eat, and now you have when I receive eat. So you're going to drag when I receive eat down to where your code goes. And what that's going to do is when that other loop goes through, so let's click on the dinosaur really quick. When this other loop goes through, when it says broadcast eat, it's going to, the dinosaur code's going to be like, hey, it's your turn. So then the Cheesy Puff code is going to run when it gets through that part. So I am just going to add another forever loop because the Cheesy Puffs moving is something that's going to need to repeat forever as well. And I am going to copy this block, so you can either go to motion and click on another one, or what I like to do is just separate it. And then if you hit Control C and then Control V, you can copy and paste an individual block. But you can always just click on another one if you go to the motion tab and everything. That works just as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, if you watched the original program, the cheese puffs move to the dinosaur's mouth and then you can't see them for a second. So if I were to just drag them over here and hold them there, the program would look like this, right? So to make sure that it looks like the dinosaur is eating them, we're going to need them to hide for a little bit when they hit the dinosaur's mouth. So this block in the forever loop is getting them to go back to their original position, right? So we're going to put the show block under looks right here. And this causes the cheesy puffs to show. Like if I drag the hide one over here and I click, if I just stick it in here and I click hide, see how they'll go away. And then if you click on show, they'll come back. Let me just get rid of that. See how they'll come back. So I'm going to drag hide in there as well. And you're going to need something to go in between here, because if you have show and hide right next to each other, it's just going to disappear. So for timing purposes, we're going to go to the Control tab, and we are going to drag the wait 1 second block right over here. So see now how if you run it, it should, it's not making it disappear. Anyways, now we have it wait 1 second when the cheesy puffs reappear, and then we're going to need them to glide into the dinosaur's mouth, right? So what I did to make sure that the positioning was right, I just went ahead and so first we're going to grab another one of these blocks and we're going to put it right after the wait 1 second. Oh yeah, see how that's blinking now? But anyway, so we're going to grab this block. Or wait, no. I lied. Not that one. We're going to grab the glide 1 second to X position, Y position. So you can just click on that and hit delete. Okay. So I have glide 1 second, and then what we're going to do is we're going to click on the food that he's going to eat and drag it over his face to make sure it's not overlapping with any edges of the sprite. Stay. Go ahead, stop. Okay. So we're going to drag it right here. And notice how when you drag the sprites around with your mouse, the X and Y positions change to their current position. So now the cheese puff's current position is X negative 74 and Y negative 8. So in this block, I'm going to type where I want the cheesy puffs to be in his mouth. So I'm going to go negative 74 and Y negative 8. So now when you run it, you'll see that it disappears for a second there, but it's super fast. So we're going to need a wait another couple seconds block. So what I did for timing purposes is I went to the control tab and I got another wait 1 seconds block, except for I made it say wait 3 seconds because I like the timing of that better. So we're just going to type a 3 right in there. And then you should end up with, oh, what happened? He should be opening and closing his mouth. There we go. Yeah, so if you hit, if you hit the green flag right now, you should end up with this. But if you want to add another thing called a variable, notice how in my original one, I had a bar right up here that was counting the bowls of Cheesy Puffs that he ate. So that's called a variable, and that's what I use to keep track of that. So if you want to add a variable to count how many bowls of cheese puffs he's eaten, then we're going to go ahead and go down to this little orange circle that says variable. And we're going to click on make a variable. So I had mine say cheesy puffs eaten. If you chose to make this an apple or something healthier or a cake, whatever, you could say like cakes eaten or apples eaten. So I'm just going to go ahead and type cheesy puffs eaten as the name of my variable, and I'm going to click OK. And there we go. See how it's displayed right up there, but it's not counting yet. So how do we get it to count? So in this loop, each time he eats, we're going to need it to change this variable by 1. So if we click on this change block right here and drag it right in between the hide and the wait 3 seconds, it'll add 1 each time he eats a bowl of Cheesy Puffs. But one problem is if we compile right now, notice how it's already left off at where he finished last time. So to get it to reset to 0 each time you compile your code, you're going to want to go ahead and drag this set Cheesy Puffs eaten block. You're going to go ahead and drag this block that says set your whatever the name of your variable is to 0 each time you click the green flag, because then if you compile or hit the green flag, it'll go back to 0 and it'll start counting over again. So right there is the finished product of your little quarantine activities guide. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to name it quarantine activities again. With the little smiley face, because I like the smiley faces. And then to send it to other people, you can just go ahead and click the share button and see how I've named it right here. You can give it a title, you can give it instructions or notes and credits if you want, and I can just go ahead and click copy link. So here you go, here's your finished product. Hope you enjoyed this one. Again, you can always email your projects to codingwithemily@gmail.com. I actually did get one back this time, so I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. My aunt sent me this one. I thought it was totally cute. So there you go. If you want yours to be featured, you can always email it to me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching.